and all I see is just like hella people. Like, it would look like this, like it was like a circle like this of people recording. I've never seen the whole entire school come like that in a crowd, but it was like this as I was like pinned against the wall, and all I see is this kid like in front of me going, "Oh," and I was just like, what the fuck happened? And I'm just like, I'm calm, I'm trying to get the fucking yard duty to let go of me, because at this point I'm just like, I just want to go about my day and like forget this even happened. I ended up going to the office, and the principal is mad as hell because we had already like brought it to the office, and you know, like me and the girl Violet, like we agreed not to talk about any one another, and you know, like, so the principal is just sitting there like you can just read that facial expression. She was like, what the fuck type of thing, you know, like she was like, this wouldn't happen, like what the heck happened with you? Great. The girl Violet had a damn fucking ice pack like right here, just sitting right there, and she just looked at me and she was just like, and I was like, girl, don't even. And she started fucking crocodile tears. I was like, oh, she really fronting right now, she really fronting. So I get put into this classroom, and I'm pretty sure at this moment I'm like, dude, where is Skylar at? And I get to this classroom, this teacher's inside. I've never been in this classroom, so I'm just like, just don't want to be here. And so I'm in there, and the teacher was like, what happened? And I told her what happened, and she was like, well, I don't think it's going to be on your record. I was like, it better not be, because in high school it's a whole different story. When you're in high school and you have something on your record, it's just, it stays there. So I was just like, I was stressing over that, and I had to write down what was happening on a piece of paper. That paper had like all specific details, everything of what happened. Lunch was even over because of that. But I was in this classroom, and I was just sitting there like breathing heavily, and just my face was red, and I was just really tired, and I wanted some water, and I didn't even know what to write at first, because I was like, I really don't remember, you know, like this is all too soon. So I had to give me some time here. So I ended up writing what happened, and after like 15 minutes later, I ended up giving it to the teacher, and for her to call the principal back to tell her that I'm done. So the principal ends up coming, and I walk with her, and I was like, where are we going? And she was like, oh, you're coming with me to the office. We had to call your mom. I'm like, oh crap. If I make any funny business in school, I'm literally hearing it the rest of the way back home. That's pretty much it. So I go to the office, my mom's there, and she was like, what happened? And she was like, Yazzie, she was like, oh my gosh. And I was just like, I know. She was having like a whole conversation with the principal, and you know, the secretaries there and the staff members, and I end up having to this little room where the principal kind of has like little conference room, I guess. And it was me, my mom, and her, and she was like, okay, because of this, like, she's going to be suspended. I think I was suspended for like a week. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but it's somewhere around that range. And oh my god, I was just like, okay, like, you know, I was like, what it is. I know my consequences because of this fight, you know. What am I like supposed to not expect any consequences? So, you know, like, I was just like kind of like in a whatever type of thing. But then again, I was like, okay, like, crap, man, I'm gonna need all my schoolwork. And my mom was like, so is she gonna have her schoolwork? And she was like, yeah, you can have, we'll contact all her teachers, you can contact all her teachers, and you can see if you can get the schoolwork. And she was like, okay. So we go back home, and like I have to explain the whole situation to my mom, and like it just is all a blur. And like reading the whole like things and all the papers, we still have the papers too, and sometimes like I go back and read them like, wow, the school was really trying to get me in trouble. And because in that little statement, in the principal's like little statement or whatever, I was reading everybody's statements. We were given to them as copies. And because we had this little meeting to go to within this week that I was suspended because of this fight that happened, because I guess the girl was sent to the hospital, but the school wanted to make sure that I was okay and that I wasn't going to like go back and this was going to happen again. And I had a meeting with the board, and the board meeting was, like, they're top notch. They're the people that will decide if I stay in the school or I have to switch to a different school. So basically this whole fight turned into me switching schools now. And my mom was pretty upset because, like, the school was, like, where I live and where I've been at for, like, throughout my 6th through 8th grade. And, it being my last year, like, my mom was like, no, I do not want you to switch schools, so me and my mom was, like, kind of really frustrated about that because, like, like, what the heck? This wasn't gonna happen again. Of course not. And I'm not the type of person. I remember my dad telling me, like, okay, like, since this happened, you can't just think that you can go around fighting people. And I was like, Dad, you're right, but it's not even like that. I was like, this was just a one-time thing and it just happened, and I'm not like that. And my dad knew that too, so he was just like, yeah, I know, but I just wanted to make sure. And and we went to that meeting. It was like, I was so anxious. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so the lady was telling me, like, yeah, like, because of this happened, we just want to make sure that it's not going to happen again. The lady from the board was like, okay, so you're going to stay at that school, but we just want to make sure that that's not going to happen again. And I was like, no, of course not. Like, and my mom was like telling her, like, yeah, this is her school, like, we want to keep her in this school. And so we end up talking for about like 5 more minutes, and then it starts going to the end, and I ask, okay, so what's going to happen to Skylar? And the lady looks at me and was like, Skylar is going to move schools. And I was like, when I get that, I'm just like kind of like really sad about it. I was like, wow, like, my best friend is going to move to a different school, and I'm still going to be at this school. Like, you know what, it's gonna be okay, And I texted Skylar and I was like, hey, like, are you really moving schools? She was like, yeah, it's best for me, and it's best for me, and like to get a new start. And I was like, okay, like, we're still gonna be in contact, everything like that, because I was always at her house, she was always at my house, we were always like here back and forth doing everything together. And we ended up being friends throughout like high school too. But that's the time that I got into my first fight in middle school. Looking back at it, I'm just like, wow, like, it's so stupid. It's like really pointless. But y'all should let me know if y'all had those little stupid fights or like anything stupid that you've done in the past. Like, as I grew older, like, I know how people like come and go, and like how I outgrew people. So, like, I'm not going to be friends with a lot of people as I get older, and that's what happened, and that's okay, because I was just like, I can build myself. And now, like, looking back at it, like, before to now, like, I would say that I'm a better person, and a lot of people can say that I changed in a really good, manner way. I was always that girl, that really shy girl, like, in school. Like, I was really shy. Like, even now, like, I'm a little shy, but I will talk. But, like, I would always, like, be really quiet. I'm a really mannered girl. So, like, me and Skylar, we really, really had our big differences. And, now I'm just, like, I'm not in the mix. Like, really, I don't go out, I don't party, I don't like doing all that, none of that. I'm like, it's not my scenery. And, everybody's gonna have their own opinion about that, but it's just not my thing,